But at the same time, you would know I'm not partaking in this and you are 3 less people becoming part of that. Okay, so I'm hoping you kind of get this wrong, otherwise I have to give 3 prizes. But you have to define this word, and I'll give you a little leeway. The word is speciesism.
You want to go first, Doug?
You can go first, Pedro.
Is this a kind of frangipan, like a cake?
A frangi? No, not a cake.
Come on, Frankie.
Is it a type of discrimination
Yes, you're on the right track.
towards other species?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the idea that humans are superior, the superior animal, which leads to the exploitation of other species of animal. So you're not familiar with this term before?
I get the gist, aye.
What do you think? Do you think it's a legitimate term? All words are obviously made up, but do you think there's something to it that we do discriminate against other species of animals?
Yeah,
Yeah, I believe so.
Can you think of a way that we do it?
I mean, cruelty towards animals and testing. Unlike, I mean, a lot of makeup brands and stuff. There used to be a lot of testing towards that within animals and stuff, and it's becoming less and less common nowadays. You see, I think perfume companies and makeup brands and stuff kind of use it as a flex that they don't test against animals anymore, and it's a big label when I think that should just kind of be as kind of unspoken word.
Unspoken. Yeah, there's certain types of fur, for example. It's popular to say we don't use fur. It's becoming more popular. More popular to say we don't test. Yeah, no, that's fine. But one
I'm not wearing leather.
Out there.
I'm not wearing leather.
before you get in trouble, obviously. But one of the ones that's not so popular to be against, which obviously has the same outcome for animals, is the meat, dairy, and egg industry.
damn right.
And the way to not be a speciesist is to be a vegan, and because obviously it's not just about your diet, it's a philosophy about not being a speciesist, basically, not saying I'm superior to these animals are for eating, for testing, for ripping apart their skin for fur. It's seeing them as individuals who aren't to be commodified. Have you ever seen your food that way? If you've sat down, assuming you eat, say, chickens, have you ever looked at them and thought there was a head attached and a mind?
Yes, but it's also so normalised at this
So
point.
normalised.
Yeah.
It's such a normal thing. So many people don't think about that.
No.
And I think what I think is crazy as well is a lot of people in other countries eat different animals to the ones that we eat, and people
Like
act
dogs.
exactly, and people act like the ones that we eat, like we're better for eating that, and they're
We're
and it's
better
like
when
they're
there's no
all
morally
animals.
significant difference, exactly.
Yeah.
But that you did technically define the word, so I'll give you a prize. This is just to get people thinking about, should I be picking up this animal at the supermarket? Should I be picking up dairy that was made for their babies who are taken away so that we can drink their milk? Should I have the soy milk or the oat milk instead? Should I have the vegan chicken breasts from Aldi instead?
I saw. I don't know how true it is, but I read somewhere that around 4 million bees or something were killed during almond milk production last year.
So yeah, basically that's a byproduct of the industry.
Yeah.
So bees, it's the honey industry that's driving that. So
essentially.
vegans don't eat honey anyway. So a lot of bees die to mites.
Yeah.
It's not so much. Obviously, you have crop deaths indirectly or maybe even directly. But if we didn't see animals as beings we can just kill, we would think of alternatives to actually consider them in production. But right now, unfortunately, animals suffer the consequence because we don't consider them in any practice whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree wholeheartedly, I do. I want to ask the hard question.
Yeah, go on.
If us 3 walk away and become vegan today, then what happens to the industry that still produces all these soy fields for cattle and animals like that? We can't stop that. What's the bigger plan?
So each individual makes, the mass society is made up of individuals. Yeah. So if you are an individual, you are actually, there's a threshold purchase that if you purchase items, you are paying for a certain number of animals to be killed because you've, supply and demand.
And water consumed.
Yeah, obviously, there's still going to be people buying animals in their bodies and secretions. But at the same time, you would know I'm not partaking in this and you are 3 less people becoming part of that. If you think something's wrong, you just don't do it, right? Murder's going to just carry on happening. They'll probably, but it doesn't mean you murder. Yeah.
Or does he?
Well, I wouldn't admit that on television. if we go vegan, sure. If everyone did tomorrow, then we'd have a lot more land available for proper farming rather than the cattle and the chickens and whatever, all this battery stuff.
Yeah, they need to eat too, don't they?
But a punk in a jacket, you and your fake virgin charity shop, and all mine is hand-me-downs. We're already on the side, you know. How do we convert people that have voted for reform or the majority conservative this year? How do we convert those people, not the leftist ones?
Yeah, it's quite obviously politically there is some like leaning towards left people being more inclined to be vegan.
Yeah.
I think to appeal to a conservative, you'd probably say something like your personal, like traditional duty to an individual animal. I'm not conservative myself, so I'd have difficulty, but you just appeal to their values and you do it that way. We try too hard to put out our opinion and it clashes. So we got to meet people where we're at, and that's why we're trying to just get people to define speciesism today and see if they'll have a conversation about the animals.
I dare to go outside Gerald's and have the same conversation.
I did yesterday, and someone was very upset with me. So
I think as well it's important to open up the conversation about harm reduction and like just reducing it, because a lot of people won't be willing to completely give it up, but even just like reducing the amount of like meat that you eat can make a difference in some way.
it would make a difference in numbers, but it would ultimately still be speciesist. Do you know what I mean? So it's important to those number of animals, an individual animal, if they don't get killed. But I guess it's kind of boils down also to who you want to be. Do you want to be someone who does a bad thing sometimes or just not at all? Do you know what I mean? Then that's why it played on my mind, and I was like, oh, I've got to just stop. Like I was eating organ meats and everything. It was horrible. But now, 10 years later,
Good for you.
yeah. Well, I hope you do go vegan. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
We all look like vegans.
I look like a vegan a lot.
Yeah, same.
I was vegan for 3 years, but I gave it up for meat.
Oh no, you didn't.
I was broke, and you can quit eating meat today, but there are so many factors of them just being speciesist that Frankie says we don't know it's bad because we grew up this way, eating Billy Bear ham and the most processed meat you can imagine. I've not got the money to be vegan. I have to eat what's on my table, and usually it's meat because it's cheapest.
Luckily, in the 10 years I've been vegan, I've seen such a change. Now you can go to Aldi and get 2 vegan chicken breasts for £1.49.
Yeah.
So it actually works out cheaper in a way because I don't then have the entire supermarket at my indulgence. So I'm like, I've got what I could get, and you just work to your budget. There's actually a Lancet report that shows that 32% cheaper it can be in countries like the US and the UK. And that's down to those sorts of factors. And obviously your beans, your rice, your potatoes are your cheapest products. But I envisage the flesh being more expensive. And I look sometimes down the aisle if I can bring myself to do it. And I'm like, wow, that's got expensive. So, yeah. But something to think about. And you got a free prize. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much.